Hello, my name's Naomi Holtring and I'm Managing Partner of interMEDIATE Dispute Management.
Hi, I'm Jean-Marcel Malliaté and I'm the Principal Mediator and Director of interMEDIATE Dispute Management.
Today we're going to run through a hypothetical opening statement so that you can understand a little bit more about the process. Jean-Marcel, would you like to begin?
Sure. Welcome to mediation, and I can see you've got some water in front of you, and also you've had an opportunity to speak to Naomi during the pre-mediation assessment. And so we're just going to run through a couple of things with you before we start. Firstly, just to let you know that the bathrooms are over here, and if you need to also have a break during the session, it's just simply a matter of just letting us know and we'll have a break for a couple of minutes and then come back.
Okay. Just checking that your names that you'd like to be called. Mary, are you happy to be called Mary? And Jim, you're happy to be called Jim? Fantastic. Thank you for that. As you know, my name is Naomi. I'm a mediator, and we're just wanting to explain our process to you a little. Today it is a voluntary process, mediation, so I'm just checking with you both that you're both here voluntarily. Nobody has coerced or forced you to be here today. That's great. Okay, the nature of a voluntary mediation, it means that you can actually leave or take a break at any time you wish. If things do get a little heated and you do feel like you need to leave, it would be great if you could please just speak with us first, because you're here to do something that's really important to you both, and if we can get things back on track, then that would be really great. So we can provide you with a private session, and so that we can speak confidentially to make sure everything's okay for you. The confidentiality means that what we're doing today stays within our mediation service, certainly within this room. Anything that we talk about cannot be taken to court. Indeed, our files are not subpoenable. Indeed, we destroy our notes after any mediation, and we do have very short memories. That we are mandatory reporters, however. If we hear or suspect that there's anybody in danger, we do need to report that. Or if there is any risk at all, we need to deal with that as well. We're here to make a safe environment for you to speak, so that you're able to express what you need to say without any fear that what you say will be taken outside the room. And that means that you're going to have a more successful mediation. Our roles as mediators today is not to give advice. We're here to help you, to talk to each other, and to be able to help you understand what's been going on for each of you. We're not here to counsel you, and we're certainly not here to judge. We don't say who's right or who's wrong, and we certainly are impartial. Prior to this mediation today, we had no knowledge of either of you, and indeed, if you feel that we're less than impartial, please let us know so we can address that. The aim of the session today is to help you to talk to each other, to craft and make your own agreements for the future, agreements that you can both live with. At one stage we will have a private session to make sure that everything's on track with you, and just make sure that there's nothing that you are desperately needing to do or say that you're feeling unable to do so. If we give one of you a private session, then we will do the same with the other. We'll try and keep the times even so that it remains an unbiased process. Jean-Marcel, would you like to take the process?
Sure. I'm just going to explain the process that we'll be following in a brief way. And sometimes mediation needs more than one session, but we'll see how we go. And it also depends on the issues that you bring to the table and how well you work with us in our process. In a very short while, we're going to ask each of you to make an opening statement, and Naomi would have prepared you for that. And during that opening statement, if you would speak in your own words about what's brought you to mediation, perhaps a little bit about the past, what you've incurred, and also finish up with what you would like in the future, what you would like as an outcome of this process. We will then read that back to you and make sure that we've fully understood the issues that you bring to the table, and then develop an agenda for which we'll put up on the board, and that will allow us to work through each issue at a time. exploring each issue, looking at options that you may wish to generate, and if you get stuck in that process, we may be able to suggest some options that you can also consider. And it's during those option generation that parties usually find agreement, and sometimes it may be something that you've not considered before. Okay, so the agreement in itself, we will develop that as we go through the process, and Naomi will prepare that on the laptop, and then we'll read that back to you at the end to make sure that you're in full agreement with that. And if it is to your agreement, then we'll print that, and then you'll be able to each sign a copy of that and retain it until it's reviewed at a later date. So does that sit comfortably with you? Oh, good. Okay, so there are some basic ground rules which I'll just cover, and that really helps us with this process. And the first one is that if you speak for yourself when you're speaking, and if the other person could allow that person to finish before we hear from you, and there's a pad and paper in front of you, so please make a note of what you are wishing to ask, and then we'll come back to you after that. So it's a respectful process, so we will not be insulting anyone, and we will not allow any insults during this process. So does that sit well with you? Okay. Just a couple more. If we could each turn our mobile phones off so that we're not interrupted. And also, lastly, before we start, the agreement to mediate, which Naomi would have sent you, did you have a chance to read through that? Okay. So if we can each sign that, and that represents our first agreement. So congratulations, and we'll now ask Party A if they would like to begin with their opening statement.